I'm gonna teach you how to fall back in love with yourself. It takes a lot of tools, energy, courage, and time to really come to a place where you love yourself, especially if you look very different to the societal standards of beauty. I know that because I've lived with alopecia for about 30 years. However, over the years, I've been able to level up my confidence and really pour into my self-love. This year, I was able to do so many incredible things. I was in Elle magazine. I was able to speak on Red Table Talk. I think the key differentiating factor here is that I'm not the same person that I was even a couple years ago. And the reason is because I've taken the time to really nourish and pour into my self-love. I'm going to talk to you a bit about some of those tools and tips. And as we do that, we'll do a fun little get ready with me. Today's video is sponsored by Velour. Since it is Alopecia Awareness Month, they are actually donating a percentage of the proceeds from their sales towards CANF, which is the Canadian Alopecia Areata Fund. So make sure you definitely check them out. Alright, I'm gonna start off with eyes first. I am a huge fan of doing eyes first, simply because I find they take longer, so that way I don't have to rush in case I run out of time. And also, if I'm working with glitter, that way none of the glitter falls onto my concealer if I've already done the hard work of baking my under eye and all of that jazz. So let's start with the eyes. Kim K had a really beautiful look recently. I'll put it up here actually, and kind of feel inspired by that. I'm not gonna do that exactly, but I feel like these simple minimalist matte looks are really what's up. So let's get into it. So I love to always first prime the eyes, and you can do this with like an eye primer or concealer if you have just concealer at home. You don't need to go out and buy another product. There's no one else quite like you. I feel like this is just the vibe that Beyonce was really trying to portray in Alien Superstar. You know, when she's like, unique. I can't sing, so I'm not gonna like indulge anymore. There's really no one else like you. You really are one of one, and it's really important to recognize that and embrace that. Of course, it is really hard to learn how to love yourself when you look kind of like the opposite of what everyone else looks like. But the thing is, there's so much beauty in being unique, and once you develop confidence and find your own personal style, you yourself will really be able to celebrate that uniqueness, and then in turn, the more confident you are, the more life will start to open up for you as well. So there's no one way to be beautiful, and also there's no one way to express your personal style. It really takes time to find out what your personal style is, and it's also important to note this is something that likely will evolve as you get more knowledge, as you try new things. Take the time to try out different types of wigs. A great way to do this is to start off with synthetic first. Synthetic wigs are a lot cheaper than human hair. It's a lot easier to try out different things there. And then once you kind of know what you like, you can then parlay that into investing in the human version of that hair pattern or that hair color. When I first started out, I was wearing these wigs that were really heavy, like really dense, and like really long, and like, don't get me wrong, like long hair is gorgeous, but I think what was happening is that because I was so used to these images of women rocking these really long, like Rapunzel style weaves, or like really long, like slick, like pin straight hair, I was like thinking, oh, like that has to be my personal style when I decide to wear a wig. But honestly, that style, it was not giving. Like it was not for me. I'm really happy that like eventually I was able to link up with someone who was a wig stylist and a hairstylist who introduced me to more of like these kinky curl patterns and taught me a bit about like getting like color treatment for the wigs and wig placement and all of that. And so that in turn helped me to feel a lot more beautiful. So really take the time to explore your unique beauty and explore defining what your personal style is. Another great thing for me was taking the time to explore makeup. It is my passion. It's what led me to starting this incredible platform. Beauty just lets you rediscover your own identity, and it lets you shapeshift, it lets you enhance your natural beauty, it lets you get creative, and on a practical level, it helped me feel like my old self. Finding lashes, finding eyebrow treatments that mimicked like realistic looking hair, realistic looking lashes, like that was so huge for me. So I just want to encourage you, like, take the time to really explore playing with developing your own personal style. So I know a lot of you might be like, oh, that's all well and dandy, Joy, like you have a bold sense of style. Like, of course it was easy for you, but like me, I'm much more demure. I don't want it to be obvious that I lost my hair. I don't want to call attention to myself. I like really muted things. There's ways to explore your own beauty in a way that, again, is really on your own terms. I think in general, most beauty brands, or a lot of the most popular beauty brands, are moving more towards creating products that just feel like a natural extension of yourself. I feel like I see this a lot with like the minimalist makeup. A lot of people are really into the cream blushes, which just melt into your skin. There's a lot of that technology that's been debuting recently, and so there are a lot of incredible natural beauty lines out there, both from a natural finish but also that use a lot of natural products. If you would like any recommendations, definitely let me know, and I can send you some as well. If you are someone who is interested in wearing lashes, or who wears lashes, or who has lost their eyelashes due to alopecia, there are also a lot of natural options out there. In particular, I of course am a huge fan of Velour. In particular, both their Effortless collection and the Plant Fiber collection I find have the most natural looking options here. I love that a lot of those lashes are like really short, up to 12 millimeters max, so really they are quite natural. They're not going to be looking like spiders, and you can just like feel confident. They're also really comfy. Okay, so my second tip here is find your tribe. Find people who speak your language. Hair loss can be really isolating because although you may have really supportive friends and family, it's hard for people to truly understand the psychological pain, the emotional toil that really goes with experiencing hair loss. It's just incredibly hard to not know what you're gonna look like from day to day, because you may wake up one day with lashes, you may wake up the next day without lashes, you may just overnight also lose your eyebrows, you may overnight lose clumps of hair and see clumps of hair in the shower or in your bed. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's hard to really explain how much it really impacts your sense of self and your identity unless you've really gone through it. On top of that, it's really hard for people to recommend tools or vendors or products that might be helpful for you unless they are within that industry or are dermatologists or experts. And so that's why it's so important to really find your tribe. For me, that looked like joining and getting involved with some of the more formal organizations. In Canada, there is an incredible organization called CANF. It's the Canadian Alopecia Areata Foundation, and they help people of all ages living with alopecia. They also have like a wealth of resources for friends and family members. I've seen so many supportive spouses, parents, sisters, siblings come out to these events, and it's really an incredibly safe space. I recently did a workshop actually with CANF at their annual conference in Toronto about eyelashes and eyebrows. It honestly was one of the most rewarding and incredible things I've done in a while. Just to see the look on people's faces when they saw themselves after the tutorials, just to see them really be like, whoa, like I feel like my natural self again, or whoa, I see myself as beautiful again. And of course the work is really inside out and transformational, but what happens on the outside really affects how you feel on the inside. I was just thinking about my inner child and how I wish I had something like that when I was navigating hair loss when I was so young, so it felt really powerful to be able to participate in something like that. There's this Toni Morrison quote, which I absolutely love, and it goes something like, if you have some power, then your job is to empower others. And that's exactly how I feel. I still struggle with many things, but I'm very much more in my power today than I was even, I would say, even 3 years ago. Just starting this channel has been transformational because I found community, I found my tribe, and that has in turn empowered me and given me a lot more confidence, a lot more drive, a lot more purpose, because I understand now what my purpose in life is and how important it is to help others. Like, there's nothing really more rewarding than doing that. Okay, so now it is time for lashes. I'm feeling the plant fiber lashes today. I have two here that I'm debating between. So we have a new leaf, and then we have Cloud 9. I don't know. I think a new leaf is just like a little more dense, a little more fluffy, which I think is like a nice look for when you're doing something that's a little bit more soft glam. So I'm using my Velour Lash glue. Lately I've just been putting it directly onto my eyelids. I just feel like it is a much quicker application. Does anyone else do this? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I just did those off camera because sometimes I get a little stage fright with lashes just because you have to get so in the nooks and crannies. I think these look good. I think we can start to beat the face. So I'm gonna start off with a little primer. I am a huge fan of priming and then setting the primer. I learned that from Auntie Jackie Ina. I feel like she very much taught me how to do makeup. Taught a lot of us how to do makeup. Let me know if you're a Jackie Ina fan in the comments. Talk to the experts who can help you with the thing that you're struggling with. Let's talk purely physical first. If you are struggling with your hair and you're feeling really insecure and not great about yourself because your wig doesn't look realistic, or you don't know how to cut your hair or shave your head yourself at home, then my recommendation is just talk to an expert. And I mean that literally. KNF has quite a few resources on their website of like places that are like approved vendors or recommended vendors. Also, you can ask around. Like, again, when I say the alopecia online community is incredible, I mean it's phenomenal. If you reach out to me or anyone from KNF, they will be happy to help you find resources. Also ask around your immediate network as well, just to see who they may know. My cousin has a friend who makes wigs, and she put me in contact with her, and she was able to help me create actually a wig that was really stunning. Like, I wanted like a really cute like Beyonce inspired wig, but that like would suit my skin tone. Then she also taught me how to install wigs and remove wigs, and also just like sleep with wigs if necessary. I didn't know any of that stuff. I was just trying haphazardly to do that, and so it was really incredible to speak with someone who had the knowledge, who could actually help me do what I desperately was trying to do. Again, like, all these things are new to you. Like, it would be weird to expect yourself to be an expert at, let's say, like flying on day one, or an expert at growing vegetables if you just like suddenly like were dropped off at a farm. Like, this is all new to you. You just became someone living with alopecia. How are you supposed to know everything to do? It takes time. So go and speak to the experts just like you would with any other problem that you're dealing with. It's really important not to compare your journey to other people's. These things take time, and they will unfold slowly but surely. So really give yourself grace as you go on this self-love journey. I think Michelle Obama also talks about this when she says she's becoming, like, you're constantly evolving and learning and unlearning so many things, especially when it comes to self-love, especially when it comes to beauty standards. There's just so much to unlearn and to relearn. So really give yourself grace as you learn to love yourself. I'm gonna do my lips while I wait for the rest of the concealer to dry down, and then I'm gonna bake my concealer as we wrap up this look. I quite like this. I feel like it's a very simple look, but it looks very polished. You know what I mean? Like, it just gives what it needs to go. As we wrap this up, I just want to say, don't stop talking about your feelings. Don't stop researching about alopecia. Don't stop connecting with other people with alopecia. The more that you do these things, the more tools you're gonna have in your toolbox. All right, ta-da! Here is the final look. It's very much giving Barbiecore, leading into that with like this bubblegum suede, a little jacket we got going on, coupled with this really cute dress I have. I'll post some like full-length photos. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. Continue to pour into your self-love journey, and if you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments. See you in the next video. Until then, keep growing and keep glowing.